Hello everyone and welcome to the Magic the Gathering World Championships 2010 here in Chiba, Japan with me, Rich Hagon, and Pro Tour historian Mr. Bryant David Marshall. 4 days of gaming heaven to get through, so let's start with day one is what?
We're going to start off with 6 rounds of standard. We're going to run into a couple rounds of teams, and then we are going to go into the mocks, the December dozen, the Magic Online Championship Series for lots of money.
Day 2 is draft, so that's Scars of Mirrodin, just like you'd expect. Draft 3 rounds, draft 3 rounds. Day 3, we begin with the last 2 rounds of team play, and then what's the format down the stretch?
The format down the stretch is extended. It's the secret to really the secret to this tournament to me. Worlds really comes down to the extended format. Who can come up with the last minute deck and really make that strong run? It is the Haven of the Brewmaster.
Haven of the Brewmaster. Surely that's a card in a forthcoming set. It has to be. And have it in. Yeah, lovely. All right. Day 4, of course, is where we get all the answers. All the races come to their conclusion. But what are the races? Let's start with Player of the Year and the man in the box seat. Here he is.
Brad Nelson. I mean, the FF Freak, we met him first in Honolulu last season. He's just gone on to become one of the most dominating players in the world, honestly. And he's got a 15-point lead in the Player of the Year race coming into World Championships. It's as dominating a lead as we've seen. A lot of things have to go wrong for him to not win the Player of the Year title. Or for some other people, I guess you have to say things have to go right. So
let's see who's next. The next 2 contenders. Paulo Vitor Dama da Rosa of Brazil and Martin Hughes with the Czech Republic.
And there's a picture of Paulo Vitor Dama da Rosa when things were going right for him.
Absolutely. Now these 2, they're in the same position really. If Brad fails to make the top 8, if either of these do, then Player of the Year goes into a final day. Now, BDM, I know you got a little story about Brad Nelson, some nerves going on.
I made a joke in my column a couple weeks ago about Brad, working this Paulo Vitor Dama da Rosa voodoo doll, just kind of stabbing at it, and he really wants to win Player of the Year. He said to me that if he doesn't make top 8, and Paulo or Martin does win the top 8, that when we do the webcast, we can look out that window and we will see in the front row Brad Nelson sitting there stabbing at a voodoo doll of either of these players. He has promised that he will make one.
Okay, next down the line, the Japanese challenge. Shuhei Nakamura and reigning Player of the Year, Yuya Watanabe. Now, for either of them to win, they need to win Worlds. That's pretty much step 1. Yeah, step 2 is Brad Nelson falling further down the rankings. Round about the hundreds, 115th, 150th, somewhere around there, they're in with a shout. And then we get to the 3 players who need Christmas to fall on a Tuesday.
Blue Moon.
Yeah, and, well, let's meet them anyway. Who's this?
This is Guillaume Matignon. Guillaume the way he can win is the way any of these 3 guys can win. He's on his national team. He's a French national team member. I spoke to Guillaume this morning. I said, so, are you going to win Player of the Year? And he said, well, let me tell you what it's going to take for me to win Player of the Year. I need to win the team championships. I need to win the world championships. And he needs to additionally win the Brad Nelson falling in a hole on his way to world championships.
Okay, yes, and that's the same for both these other guys. Josh Utter-Layton, more about him in a moment, captain of the US team. And this guy you may not know much about, Su Ching Kuo of Taiwan. 35 pro points already this season.
Having a great year. He's level 7.
And he is comfortably the most successful Taiwanese player ever, and the Taiwanese team could get him 6 points by winning. All right, team captain of USA, let's go to the team event. BDM, tell us about Team USA.
Well, I know you just think I'm going to be rooting for these guys, but blindly. But I mean, there's good reason for it. This is a great team. It's anchored by Josh Utter-Layton, their captain. Raptor on Moto. He's sort of this next generation of players that have, come from the, Louis Scott Vargases and the Brad Nelsons. He's gone from Moto to have really a lot of success on the Pro Tour. We saw him break through into the top 8. This is a great guy. He's leading a sort of an unusual team. He's got the anti-hero Conrad Kolos.
All right. Yep.
He's got Anthony Eason, who's playing in his first Pro Tour. But Anthony is someone's playing his first Pro Tour, but he's had some success playing other, younger man's card games, if you will. And I like this team a lot.
Let's assume just for a moment that the USA don't win.
Heresy!
Yeah, I know. Who do you take instead, or who would they play in the final?
This is now, in terms of jingoistic terms, this will seem very heretical to say, talking about the United States, but I like France here.
Okay. Well, here is the French team. Julien Perez, the national champion.
It's also got a GP top 8. I mean, this guy is having a nice little year for himself this year.
Guillaume Matillon, we've just introduced you to. Who's this handsome fella?
This is the anchor of the French team, right? And you could take anchor whichever way you want to take it here. Mm-hmm. But it's Antoine Rouel, Hall of Famer, one of the all-time great players.
The big question with Antoine. Do we get the 2005 edition, which this is, when he's winning Pro Tours, getting ready to be Hall of Fame? Or do we get the 2009-2010 Antoine Rouel, who is not of the same class, it has to be said. His priorities have changed, he's achieved everything he wants in the game. If you get the 205 version, fireworks from France. However, my idea of the Team World Champions, let's have a look at their flag. Red, white and blue?
USA.
It's Great Britain. No, it's the Czech Republic. Great Britain will do quite well, by the way. I'm obliged to say that. God save the Queen. But nonetheless, my idea of the winners, Czech Republic. Petr Nahradil is the team champion. He won nationals for the 3rd time. Number 2, Lucas Blahon. Level 6 pro, probably level 7.
I think really one of the players that I would be terrified to sit down against at a Pro Tour. Like, a lot of people may not know his name, but these guys in this room, they know that if they're sitting down against Lucas Blahon, that they are in trouble.
And number 3 is David Doan. He was the runner-up at Grand Prix Madrid, the largest event ever
held. A few people
held.
showed up for that, right?
Yeah, 2,220. He beat 2,219 of them, and he is a legacy genius. I don't use that word lightly. So that is teams. Now, Rookie of the Year, that's our next race. That's really tough to handicap because there are how many people in contention for that?
150 rookies or so playing in this event. If any one of them wins Worlds, they could win the Rookie of the Year title. So
let's take a look at a
couple. To pull
of
2
them.
names out of a hat,
yeah,
randomly. Oh, look, it's Christian Kalkata.
Oh,
Chris is one of my favorite players. He's from my hometown. He used to play at my store. Mm-hmm. I've watched him grow up with Magic, and he's having a great year. He just qualified for this event at Nashville with a strong finish.
Just to get him over for that one invite of the season.
I think he's going to have a very big event.
And this is the 16-year-old David Doan of the Czech Republic. As I say, legacy master. I think he's going to do very, very well. And obviously, I'm giving him 6 points for winning the team title, which is huge.
Right. And the Rookie of the Year title has often come down to the team competition at Worlds. You get extra points the last couple years for doing well at Nationals. You get extra points from playing in the team competition. And then if you do well at Worlds, you string that all together, that adds up to winning a Pro Tour in terms of point totals. So it's a very important Rookie of the Year indicator.
You may have noticed that it is December. Let's introduce you to some of the December dozen. This is the Magic Online Championship Series. We've got 3 contenders to take you through. Who's this?
This is almost certainly the lowest rated player in the room at the start of Worlds.
Really?
Bing Luke. He has 1 in 3 lifetime in sanctioned matches. He's got a 1580 rating. But on Magic Online, he is a terror. And
okay,
he is someone who could really just take it all down in the December dozen.
All right. I like Carlos Ramao from Brazil. I covered Brazilian Nationals earlier this year. Carlos really stoked for this, done a lot of work, a lot of preparation. I think he's in with a shout. I know that you have a lot of time for Akira Asahara.
Akira Asahara is one of my favorite players of all time. He is one of the great deck designers. He will build decks and you're just amazed. Famously, the last time Worlds was in Japan, he made the top 8. He suited up to channel the power of John Finkel to get past that terrible quarterfinal matchup. Yeah. I would be thrilled to see him do well in the mocks this weekend.
So those are 3 contenders, but they have a problem. They and 8 other contenders, they all have to get past Brad Nelson. Again, the man is everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So let's see, we've done Player of the Year, we've done Teams, we've done Rookie, we've done Magic Online Championship Series. I feel like we're missing something.
How about the World Champion?
Oh, okay. Individual World Champion. I will give you a name to take a punt on, take an interest through the weekend. I go for a man who has the most successful record in Pro Tour Magic history. for getting to the top 32, which means he's almost certain to be in contention when we get to the back end of Extended. He has multiple Extended Grand Prix wins. Doesn't have a Pro Tour victory. He's a Hall of Famer. He's got nothing else to play for this year. Doesn't need the ranking points or the ratings or the pro points. He's secure. And I'm going to give you a Frenchman, and here he is, Mr. Raphael Levy. Bring it. The roof will be raised if this is his first Pro Tour victory. What a thrill that would be. BDM, give me an alternate.
I mean, I feel a little bit, going back to France again here.
Okay.
But we're going to start this weekend with the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. We're going to see Bram Snepvangers, Brian Kibler, and my choice to win this event this weekend, Gabriel Nassif.
Let's see him, the man in the yellow hat.
The man in the yellow hat is going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. 10 years on the Pro Tour. He has 9 Pro Tour top 8s, 2 wins. I think he gets to 10-3 this weekend. 10 Pro Tour top 8s in 10 years, 3 victories. Hall of Fame ring, Gabriel Nassif. That's my pick.
That would be incredible, but we're in for 4 days of incredible gaming no matter what, and we will be with you through all the formats, all the days, all the action, on text, on Twitter, on podcasts, right here on Tournament Center, the live webcast, you name it, we're bringing it to you. Until we meet, 4 Worlds, it's just round the corner, it's like Christmas.
It is almost Christmas.
It is. I'm Rich Hagon for Brian David Marshall, saying bye.